Working on this custom Mandalorian armor from my boy Brandon. And we're on kind of the last steps. Going to do some last sanding on this little Bondo slurry that I put on a couple pieces. Going to sand 400 on some of the other stuff. And going to kind of see where we're at. Ready to throw the last filler primer on and see if we're ready for paint. So let's get to it. Got some 220 grit to work on these pieces. Hope everybody is having a happy Labor Day. This is the first Labor Day I've had off in a long time. Work in retail in the service industry. What's up, Tick and Ball? I tend to work on Labor Day, but I got off, so not complaining. Get some yard work, and I'm going to do some lives and play some video games, maybe watch some football later. So making Mandalorian armor. This is for a buddy of mine, custom Mandalorian that he's doing. Getting the Mando Mercs. It's Brandon. He is a 501st brother of mine in Alabama Garrison. He lives close to me here and asked if I would finish this for him. This is a Bondo slurry that I put on it and mix Bondo with acetone and then just paint it on here. I'm sanding this off. It's for the fine lines that I had on here. Just to get it all looking perfect. Doing this with the 220 grit, and then I'm gonna do the filler primer, and the last one I'll do in 400 and maybe wet sand a little bit to like an 800 or 1,000. I don't know. And of course, after every one of these sanding steps, I do rinse the pieces off, let them dry before you go on to the next layer of paint, the filler primer, or whatever it is. You don't want any of this dust on there. And end up with something that looks something like this when you're done. A little something like that. like that. Lots and lots of sanding when you're working on 3D printed props. It's just part of the process. A lot of people don't like this part of the process. I find it therapeutic. We're simply getting rid of the layer lines from printing. You got to make these things look like they are not plastic. I think the difference between a good prop and a great prop is the time that you take in the prep here to make sure it looks good. Because if it don't look good before you start painting, it's not going to look good after you paint. And we're like getting rid of these. On the inside of it, you can see the layer lines. That's what the outside looked like, but now it doesn't because we've sanded it smooth. See how covered this ends up getting very quickly. Lots of dust. So put those down. I've got a couple other of those pieces that I want to do, but I want to show you guys what you end up doing, or what I'll end up doing with these pieces that are ready for paint pretty much. So other than this visor portion, this one's all ready for paint. So we're going to switch to a 400 grit. And just go to town on this to really smooth it out and get it ready. The higher the grit, the smoother this thing's going to be. So you always start with a lower grit sandpaper and work your way up. Get the entire thing smoothed with the 400 grit. You'll rinse this off and then it will be ready for paint. That's how you do it. All right, back to these pieces. And the 220. questions about what's going on here, please let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions about this prop baking process. Basically, we've got a whole lot of sanding that we're doing. Getting ready for final filler primer, followed by the final, starting on paint. This is where the fun starts. This sounds very familiar. This is where the fun begins. Another piece ready. Not many more. These are the shin pieces. It's a really cool armor set. Shins, thighs, kind of look like that. The chest piece is nice. It's all one chest and ab. The helmet is a Din Djarin helmet, which I feel is the best of the Mandalorian style helmets. And then gauntlets are pretty cool as well. On there. And there. A little paste for a Mando computer. And of course the West Star blaster. It's a fun set for a buddy of mine named Brandon that I'm in the 501st with. And he's gone for a Mandalorian Merc certified Mandalorian here. This is generic. Paint scheme is going to be a purple and gold. Kind of Mardi Gras color. And this is really just getting rid of the last of the real fine layer lines that were on this. Because when I'm doing something for somebody else, I like it to be perfect. Yeah, building a prop for somebody is different than building a prop for yourself. If somebody's paying me to do this, I will take the extra effort to make sure this thing looks gorgeous. And then the bonuses of being a friend of mine is you get very discounted prices for production. You know what would normally cost somebody $500 to $1,000, I'll do for like $100. Friends prices. That one's ready. One last thigh piece. I've decided today that I have not been giving September the love that it needs as a month. I feel like I treat September like it's just a throwaway, and it doesn't get the respect it deserves. No holidays, you know, there's nothing fun going on, summer's over, but I've decided I really do enjoy September. So there's a calmness to it. Done. Just a couple of pieces on the visor here. All right. Just a little touch-up sanding, and then that will be ready for the last, or this one will be ready for the paint. I'm going to do filler primer and rinse all these and filler primer on these, and they will be ready for paint. And it looks like maybe this week I may be able to get started on the paint for this build. So thank you for being here, y'all. I appreciate it. I'm going to take a break, cool down a little bit, rinse this stuff off, and then do some painting. So hope y'all enjoyed being here. If you did, please give me a like. I appreciate it. Spirit Wheeler, what's up, man? Oh, thank you, dude. Tiny bit of rounding on the inner part of the eyepiece. I don't know what you're talking about. But thank you for being here, man. I appreciate it. I don't see any tiny rounding on the inner part of the eyepiece. But yeah. Almost ready to go to town. Almost, yeah, it may have been, there was a small little chunk of Bondo that was sitting in there, and I filed it out. Bondo glazing spot putty. But yeah, if you appreciate this, please give me a like. You know, YouTube appreciates that, and then it tells people that this is a good video. So I would appreciate that. Stay tuned for more of these. I'm going to be live again later today building the Rage Scorpion, that most Starl puzzle, so make sure to tune in for that as well. I appreciate it, y'all. As always, I'm Darth Rage. This is Darth Rage Reviews, your source for the Force.